for step 33, attaching the tires. Well, for the fronts, we've got the hubs that we need to grab, which I've actually pulled together and they're right there. And then we're going to remove the pins, put in the little shafts to be able to attach the wheels. And then for the rear, we're going to do the exact same thing, but there's also a little bracket that we need to put on, which will help to attach the motor cable wires so that they're out of the way. I'm not going to do this yet, but I'll show you as we go along. But I am going to attach the little bracket first. We definitely need to put that on. So there are all the pieces that we need for this step. So I'll set this up and let's put the tires on. So let's do the front tires first. And you can see that in order to do this, we need to take the pin off and then put the other pin in. So I'm going to grab one of the little shafts, grab one of our lock nuts, and then with this, I am going to pull this pin out that we put in, which really didn't need to be there. I'm not really sure why, because this can't really go anywhere anyway, so it's kind of weird that they had you do that. But anyway, you can see that the tires got to go on, but we need to put the pin in to here, just like that. And in fact, I can't, because this is the four-wheel drive, I wonder if I can, not very easily. So I'm just going to tilt this up. And we know this has to slip on over that shaft. There we go. And then this is going to fit onto the wheel. And remember the drive direction. So that is going to sit just like that. And then we have our nylon nut, which we're now going to attach to that. Now, knowing that's there, I'm just going to make sure that that hasn't moved. It hasn't. So we'll grab our box wrench, hold this in, and it's on. And you can see, if you take a look at that, we have the three pieces that stick out. Well, you can see in the wheel that those three pieces are popping through those three holes. And it doesn't matter which ones, because they're all the same, but there we go. So we're going to now do the same thing for the other side. Now, because I've got leverage with this tire, I can move it so that this is now level. So we're going to take this, pull out the pin once again, and now we can put in the shaft itself. There we go. And I'm going to turn this to keep it level. Grab one of our hub pieces, slide that on, make sure that it goes over the shaft, which it has. And now, of course, our mark for drive forward should be correct. So now we can take this, slide it on, grab our nylon nut, and now we can screw it in place. And now it's on. So we have our front wheels on the car. Feels pretty good. Love it. So that looks pretty awesome, actually. Very cool. So let's do the same thing for the rear. So again, we're going to grab a shaft, and with the rear, I wonder if I can, now that I've got the front, yes, I can level that out. So I'm moving that straight. Now we've got tires that will help with moving this. We now can pull pin. There we go. Put our little shaft inside of the hole. There we go. And I'm going to run that forward just a bit more so that it's level. Then we're going to put that on and have it go over that shaft. There we go. And we've got to grab the right tire, so it's got to go in that direction. And we will put that onto there. Make sure, yes, that works. And grab the nylon nut. Make sure that's going on all the way. Yes. So as long as we get that in the right spot, yes we have, we can now start to screw this in. And it's shifted. I figures as much, so I need to hold the back end while I do this, so I can be pushing it in at the same time that I'm screwing it in as well. But it wants to move, so let's see if I can't hold it in from this side. Let's do it that way. There we go. And there we have one of our rear tires attached. So let's do the same thing for the other side. So we are going to make sure that that is level. Yes. Gonna pull the pin. Yes. Gonna put the little shaft inside there. Grab our hub piece, make sure that goes on correctly. Yes, it has. And now we're going to grab our tire. And you can see from the tire, actually let's do it this way. Once that is on, you want to make sure that those three pieces fit into the holes. And grab our lock nut. And again, I'm going to have to hold the suspension piece so that when I'm tightening this up, the wheel doesn't move. All right, one last turn and that feels good. So there we go. There are our rear wheels attached to the car. And honestly, I think this looks super, super cool. Very cool. So the tires are on. So we have one last thing to do here, which was to install that little piece there. And like I said, I'm not going to do the full thing yet because I haven't actually attached these to here yet, because I think I've got to set the ESC up the way that I want it set up, and I haven't done that yet. So I will attach the bracket, but I'm not going to attach the cables yet. So for this piece here, you can see that there is a hole on the battery door bracket, you could say, and the screw itself is supposed to sit right in there just like that. So this I can do. In fact, I'm going to have to use a different screwdriver. Yeah, and again, I think leverage wise, we'll do it this way, and you can see it there. So I'll screw that into place. And essentially it's just going to sit there off to the side. And then when I'm ready with the zip straps, once this is attached, this will end up being able to be attached like that, which will keep the cables out of the way. So now that we've attached this piece for the zap straps for holding in the motor cables, that is the end of step 33, which means we can now move on. Now what you'll see here is it's talking about cutting out the body. Well, with the HotShot II, obviously we know with this BlockHead Motors edition, it comes pre-painted and pre-cut. Now, it does show for step 34 for cutting out the body that we have holes to put in. And I looked at the body earlier, and there are still holes that need to be done. You can see some of them are done, but you can see some of them, they've got the divot holes but we need to actually ream those out for the correct size. So we will move on to step 34 and we'll do just that. Let's get the holes all ready to go for the next part.